Welcome everyone to my jungle. I'm sitting out on my porch, also known as the jungle, and we're talking about funny, awkward, best dates, that kind of thing today. And I have a lot of stories. This makes me sound bad, but I dated a lot in New York. I did a lot of online dating in New York on Match.com, and that led to some very, very interesting dates. So I'm going to start with the awkward, funny, horrible dates. We're going to start with date number 1. I had been in a relationship for 3 years and had just gotten out of it, just moved back to New York, and it was my first time dating ever. And so I decided to try Match.com on a recommendation. I met this guy online. We had a good conversation over email and on phone. He seemed like a normal guy. And then I met him. And I could have a much more interesting, in-depth conversation with this jalapeno plant over here than I could have had with him. It was awful. And I made the mistake of doing dinner and a movie. So dinner was painful. Absolutely painful. I had friends calling me and leaving me messages, trying to get me out of it. And unfortunately, one of the messages, the last message, the first two were great. They did a great job. But then the last message was that my roommate, who had a Chihuahua, or no, Pomeranian, and we had a spiral staircase at the time in our apartment, that the Pomeranian had fell down the stairs and I had to go help resuscitate it. I burst out laughing, so that ruined that, getting out of that one. But so I made it through dinner. It was horrible, and then we went to the movies, where he proceeded. So there was a movie theater, and there were those seats that you can, cuddle up, where you could raise up the armrest. I have walked right past those and put an armrest between us, like an armrest that could not move. I'm so nice. I purposely did that. And he stared at me the entire time. Like, I was staring straight ahead, and he had his head just like that the entire time staring at me. It was so uncomfortable. And at the end of the movie, now, I lived like 2 blocks away from here. And he was like, "Oh, do you need me to walk you home?" And I was like, no. Seriously, no, it's fine. And he's like, no, let me. And I'm like, no, I live real close. I don't need to walk home. It's a busy street. I'm fine. No, really. And I was like, fine, just fucking walk me home. I put like 2 or 3 feet between us, and we're stopped at a crosswalk trying to go home, and he's kind of behind me, and I just feel something coming up around the side, and he's going in to kiss me. And I like kind of jumped off to the side, and I was like, no, not gonna happen. So he gets to my front door, and I'm like, okay, thank you for dinner and a movie. It was very nice to meet you. Have a good night. Now, it's pretty straightforward, right? There was no hidden, I really want you to come upstairs with me, right? I mean, you didn't hear that, did you? Because he did. I walk up like the 4 stairs, up the stoop to the door, put the key in the door, and then realize there's someone behind me. I turn around, and he had followed me up the stairs. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, I was going to come up." And I'm like, "I didn't invite you, and this is good night, so good night." And I waited until he was like half a block away before I went into my apartment. Creepiest creeper ever. And that was my very first very awkward date. And I was going to tell you more, but this one took a long time to tell. So happy V to everyone. I look forward to seeing all of yours. Not reading. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.